control, or you can say test control. Yeah, control. So what is test control? Guiding or corrective actions taken as a result of matrix gather. So we are going to take corrective actions based on the matrix. Corrective actions. Such corrective actions may affect any testing activity. So as for example, we are lacking behind if there is a corrective action taken, so it will definitely affect testing activities. Yes, if you are designing the test cases, then you might be given execution or something else, or if you are concentrating on planning, then you might be executing or designing the test cases, etc. Other lifestyle activities, whatever you are doing, any activities related to testing, it will have an impact on this. So example like making decisions based on from test monitoring. So what are these? We need to make decisions based on our activities we received the matrix from the monitoring. Reprioritize test when an identified risk occurs. So as for example, we prioritize the test cases and executing them, or we are doing these test activities. Now based of the corrective actions, as it is not going as per the plan, we have to take corrective actions. Yeah. So we have to reprioritize test cases. As a result, the software will be delivered late. Yes. Change the test schedule due to availability or unavailability. If you want to execute, you are ready for execution, but what test environment is not ready? What if you are waiting for some of the tool from someone else? Yes.
Yeah.
Then you say that this test environment is not ready, so you need to change the schedule. Resetting any entry criteria requiring fixes. So what happens? We change. We have planned based on the plan. In the planning, we have decided our entry criteria. Yes.
Yeah.
But what happens? This environment is not ready. The tool is not ready. The supplier hasn't provided the tool. The test cases are not ready. So what happens? We have to reset the entry criteria. Yes.
Yeah.
So resetting an entry criteria requiring fixes to have been retested by a developer before accepting them into a build. So before we accept it, we have to change the exit criteria because the developers has to change. Yeah,
Yeah.
test it. L- Yes. So in control and planning general management activities, there are some specific management issues. We discuss it. Yes, management issues. What are the management issues we have? Yes, configuration management. Because here you are going to manage the versions of all these test cases, test plan, requirements, and the software itself, the product itself. So you need to manage everything. So it is a complicated, yeah. It is difficult to manage. Risk management.
Yeah.
Next one is risk manage. We have to manage the risk, and the risk keeps on changing. It doesn't remains the same. And another is defect management. Looks like defect management would be easy, yes, but it is one of the difficult tasks. Why difficult task? You have n number of issues, you raise them, these defects are fixed. Then again, these defects come sometime, yes, the same thing might come up again. So, defect management is quite a big, difficult process. So, what is configuration management? The establishment and maintenance of the integrity of the products of the software or system through the project or product life cycle. Based on this, we have to maintain the integrity of the products. Means in simple way, you can say we are storing the deliverables version wise. Yes. So let's what is CM and testing? All items of testwares are Identified. We have to identify what are the delivers. Yeah, test well. Version control. Each and everything we have to control it with version. So if you want to identify what occurred in this particular version, you can go back and check it. You need to test it. Yes.
Yeah.
Tracked for changes. Why? It is because you can track for changes related to each other. What are the difference you can relate with each other and related to the development items? There are test objects. So based on the deliverables you have, everything you need to store with version, so that in future if you need, if any issue occurs or if you want to roll it back, you can go to the specific version and identify it. All identified documents and software items are referenced unambiguously in test documentation. And when you use the version number, there should not be any ambiguity. That should be straight one number. Yes. Procedures and tools should be chosen and documented in test planning. Here also, whatever tools we are selecting, whatever procedures we are selecting, they should all be chosen and documented in the test planning phase. So for planning, it starts. If you plan one, you save it. When you make the changes, you need to save as well. Why you need to save as well? The change you made might be incorrect. Yes, so you can roll it back. Any question?
No.
Let's discuss the risk management. What is risk? You know that if you're driving, so there will be some probability if you're driving longer distance, even to shorter distance, but there will be some probability of an adverse event occurring. Yes, that is a risk. Tire puncture is a risk. Yes, something happens to the car. We use one word, car broken down, but that is a risk. What happens? The road close. Yes, risk. What happens? There was an accident and slow traffic. Something happened on the whatever. There are so many reasons that these are the probability of this adverse event occurring. Those events are known as risk. Yes. What is the definition? The chance of an event, hazard, threat, or situation occurring and resulting in undesirable consequences. How you can measure the risk level? Likelihood times impact. What are the chances of this event occurring and how much impact it will have? Yes, risk level equal to likelihood times impact. Whatever comes it, you can say how adverse the risk level is. A factor that could result in future negative consequences, usually expressed as impact or likelihood, and this way you can measure the risk. So there are two types of risks. One is project risks and another is product risk. What is a project risk? If something happens and because of that the project is delayed, that is a project risk. Something happens because of that the product's quality is compromised, that is product risk. Okay, let's go step by step. Project risk. Risk that surround the project's ability to deliver its objectives. Yes. So one is organizational factor like skill, training and staff shortages. We started planning that we will finish this project in 1 year. But what if we don't find skilled trained staff for our project? You want some skill, some SAP skill, some specialized skill. Either it is a developer or tester. What happens? It will delay your work. Yes. Personal issues. Sometimes the staff will have some personal issues. It's a big team. So many people are involved. Some people fight, some people leave, some people have to go on holiday, some people nowadays this year is all personal issues. Yes, even if you work from home and you don't go out, there creates so many personal things. Yes, One of them is stress. So these kind of things happen. And we have to keep in mind because of that, the project will be delayed. Users, BS, SMEs may be unavailable. We don't have users available, business analysts or subject matter experts. And because of that, we don't have actual correct guidance. So because of that, the project is delayed. Technical issues, problems in defining the right requirements. First thing, we want something, but we don't know what we want. Yes.
Yeah.
When I wanted my website, I went to a few firms and said, "What you want?" "I want something like Udemy," I said. But I didn't know what I want. And because of that, I had so many issues. Because I gave one website development to someone and it was done. And I say, "Oh no, this is not I want something else." And the person comes and say, "Oh, for that it will cost 5,000, 10,000 rupees. Just one line of code." Then I say, "I want something else." "Okay, 10,000 more." "I want something else." This is not. So you need to know in advance. So that's problems in defining the right requirement. And that comes from the expert. The extent that requirements cannot be met given existing constraint. We cannot meet the requirements because of the limitations and because of the project delays. Test environment not ready on time. We might be unable to not down means we might not be able to get some of the tools or some of the softwares on time. So because of that, the test environment might not be ready. Late data conversion, late tool support. We have to convert data from one form to another form for our uses, and it has occurred late. Late tool support. We want to use some tool, but that tool is available late. Even nobody is there to support. So what happens? Because of that, the project delays. Low quality of design. High level design, low level design is there. It's low quality. The code is of low quality. There are so many mistakes there. Configuration issue and test data and the tests. Everything is of low quality. Because of low quality, then what happens? You need to correct it. If you correct it, then it takes time. Because of that, the project will be delayed. Supplier issues. Failure of third party. Third party who is supplying you tools or any support, they are unable to provide it. Contractual issues. When we want to do terms and conditions, we have to sign the contract with the clients, or we can say any IT firm who is going to build the software for. We can't come to the terms because they might be expecting some more and we are expecting. So that is a contractual issue. Until and unless we sign, the project will be delayed. Any question?
No.
Okay. Project risk, political risk. What is a political risk? Testers may not communicate the needs and the results adequately. The testers are there like lazy people sometimes, yes. They will not communicate what they want actually and the results to the third party or stakeholders. You have tested, you found some defects, but you have not communicated. What happens? It will delay. Developers and testers failing to improve practices. The developers and testers, they are not at good terms, and because of that, what happens? The project will be delayed. Improper attitude, expectations towards testing. Sometimes we expect testing will fix everything. Yes, and
Yeah.
because of that, what happens? The project testing doesn't fix anything. Testing only creates problems by identifying problems. Yes. So if you identified more and more and more problems, it will delay the development activity. But if the developers they are making mistakes, what to do? Yes, you find more and more. Project risks. Delays may occur in delivery. Because of that, what happens? Delays may occur in delivery, task completion, satisfaction of exit criteria, or definition of done. This will delay literally everything. Task completion. We can't complete the task on time. satisfaction of exit criteria. We can't come to the conclusion of the exit criteria. We can't set the exit criteria or definition of done when we will say testing is complete. Inadequate estimates. Even the estimate is incorrect. It is going to take 5 months, but we have estimated that it will take 3 months only. So what happens? You have given 2 months less time, yes, and you
Mhm.
have to rush. If you rush it, even you create more issues, yes, you make more mistakes. Reallocation of funds to higher priority projects. The funds is available for you, but now it has been reallocated to another project, and because of that, what happens? The project delays or general cost cutting across the organization may result in inadequate funding. Sometimes the organization business comes, even though the business is making so much profit, yes, but they still, oh, we want to reduce the operational cost, and they will reduce the staff, they will reduce so many things. Because of that, what the project delays. Rich people pay less tax. You have read yesterday or day before yesterday, yes. So
Mhm.
this is what happens when you have money, you do cut, and you keep for yourself, and because of that, the projects are delayed. Late changes may result in substantial rework. Because of that, what happens when you make the late changes? You say deliver it. All of a sudden, business comes and say, no, this is not I want. You need to make some changes, and because of that, you have to rework literally everything, and this delays the project. Any question?
No.
Product risk. What is a product risk? If something happens and because of that the quality of the product is compromised, that is a product risk. So potential failure areas in the software or system. So software will fail. What are they? Software might not perform its intended functions according to the specification or user customer stakeholders needs. You have delivered the software but it will not do what it has to do. Yes, 2 plus 2 equal to 4 you want it, but the calculator gives answer 2 plus 2 equal to 5. Yes, that is not doing exact task. You deliver a calculator, but the calculator is for the programming purposes, but the calculator does everything other than programming. What to do? That is a product risk. A system architecture may not adequately support some non-functional requirements. We have some non-functional requirements, but we have the system architecture it is not supporting, so we have to have some workarounds, and because of that we make some mistakes in the code and it will not do what it has to do. A particular computation may be performed incorrectly in some circumstances. So what happens? A particular computation may be performed incorrectly in circumstances. So now for you have certain level of circumstances. Because of that, as for example, you allocated a time, two, three people leave the job. The developer leaves, the expert people go. Yes. And what happens? You like something else to get it driven. Because of that, the software does not do, fails. User experience feedback might not meet product expectations. We are getting feedback from the users, but that is also not enough. As a user, I don't know what I want from the system. Then what happens? That is not helping you. As a result, we will have a poor quality product delivered. Response times may be inadequate for a higher performance transaction processing system. So when we have a higher processing system, the response time is not adequate. We have to get literally, see, forget about this statement, but if you say that we have to communicate in time, if we don't communicate on time, what happens? That will create some issues. Yes, the response time may be inadequate. It's not enough for a higher performance transaction. Sometimes you know that some of the websites they have to be real time. Yes, in fractions of seconds everything changes. When it is changes, if it delay it, then it is not enough time, and because of that, what happens? Whatever software we deliver is a poor quality software. Any question?
No.
So how we can perform product risk analysis? Determine the test techniques to be employed. Yes. We
Yep.
have to determine what techniques we are going to employ for testing. Prioritize the test like to find the critical defects as early as possible. How we can do it? Prioritize the test. We have to have the correct test procedures. Then and then we can identify the defects on time and early. If we find on time and early, we can deliver good quality product. Determine the extent of testing to be carried out. How much testing we are going to, that we have to determine. Determine whether any non-testing activities could be employed to reduce risk. Whatever you are doing testing activities, other than that you have to perform some activities. As for example, you train some other people. Yes, there can be so many activities you need to pay attention. When you join, yes, what happens? You get this laptop 2 days late, the device 2 days late. Now you got this, that is non-testing activity. Yes,
Yep.
other testing activities like you install software and everything, you make it everything ready. If somebody comes new, then you train. These are all non-testing. Where to start and where to test more. When you are going to start, where from which specific point you will start testing, and where up to where which point. This will help you to decide. Yes, what approach you have to reduce this risk. Anyway, we have discussed the project risk and product risk and the impacts. Yes, how we can reduce this, assess what can go wrong. So first thing, before we start it, we can analyze what can go wrong. Yes, we can use a discipline approach. Determine what risks are important to deal with. So based, we have identified the risks. Now we have to make decisions what risks are important to deal with that first, like likelihood, and based on the likelihood and the impact, implement actions to deal with those risks. We have to do some corrective actions. Yes, so we can tackle those risks, mitigate to reduce likelihood, how to reduce the likelihood and impact, and make contingency plans. So we have to have plan B. If this happens, this happens. As for example, you have 6 months to test it. 5 months you are going slowly and expecting that you will get 2 3 months extension or 1 month. Now the management comes. No, we will deliver the product on time. You don't have time and you have so many test cases. Then what happens? You need to apply the risk based approach. You can't execute all the test cases. So you need to reanalyze the test cases and prioritize and execute them. You can finish your work on time. Any question with risk management?
No.
Okay, next is defect management. As we say that defects are there, so we have to manage them because there will be an n number of defects. If you don't manage them, then you don't know what to fix, what defects are there, what defects are closed. Yes, so we have to manage it. What happens? You raise the same defect over and over again. It will create even the project risk and the product risk. Yes,
Yep.
you are my team member. You have raised a defect, and I raise a same defect, duplicate. Then the developer or somebody has to check it. So that is someone's time being wasted. Yes, if someone's time being wasted, that takes more time, so it will create some product risk. Because of that, the product will be delayed. No, not project, means the project will be delayed, and because of that the testing might be compromised because the person spent wasted time investigating unnecessary stuff. Yes,
Yep.
so that's why. Try to avoid reporting false positive at defects. Yes, we have to avoid reporting false positives as defects. These defects can be raised at any stage like a development phase, review phase, testing phase, and use phase. Yes. Development means you are actually developing the software. Review. So before the development started, you have the requirements. You analyze the review and you are raising against the testing. You are testing the software and you found use. Everything the software has been released and something didn't work. So it's use phase. People are using and they are raising it. These defects can be raised against the code. The code is incorrect, so you raise against the system because the system is not performing as per the expectation, and against the documents. When you review the documents, you will find defects in the documents, so you raise against the documents. What causes defects? Yes,
Yep.
defect management. What causes defects? Software defect. Yes, test fault. First thing, the software defect means the software is not performing what it has to do. Yeah,
Yep.
these are known as software defects. Test fault means your test cases are incorrect. Yes, or you have incorrectly executed. Environment fault, your test environment is not properly configured. Yes,
Yep.
test specification fault, the test specification we have defined is not correct, and that's why what happens, the overall testing activity is incorrect. Yes, and the test data incorrect. You have the cases, test cases correct, everything is correct, but the test data is incorrect. You are given to test this mortgage calculator, and you have to prepare the data with thus the multiplication and addition and everything. Will it help? No. Based on your condition, based on the scenario you are testing, you have to have the test data. Yeah, so if test data is incorrect, you will not identify the correct fault. Defect report objectives. What are the objectives when you report the defects? Provide developers and other parties with feedback. That means you are raising a defect. That means you are giving feedback of the quality of the product. Anything is could be a test plan, test specification, test cases, test data, everything in the system itself. Enable identification, isolation, and correction of defects. This report will help you to enable identify the defects, isolate it, and then fix the defects. Provide a means for test leaders to track. When you report this, the test leaders will track the quality of the system and the test progress. If you don't report it, then they won't be able to identify, find it out. Provide ideas for test process improvement. If the test processes are incorrect, then based on the numbers, based on this report, you can identify the ideas how to improve the processes, and you are going to improve the process. In defect management, details of defect report may include what is the standard reports. Yes, so let's discuss the outlines of defect reports. What you need to include in the defect report: date and time when you have generated, yes,
Mm-hmm.
and time. Issuing organization, author, who is issuing this report, and the author who is writing the report. Test item and environment. What you are testing and in what environment you are testing. You will say environment might, as for example, when I was testing Meet smart devices, then we give the firmware versions of each devices. That is the environment. Yes, environment in the version 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. Life
Yep.
cycle process in which it was observed. In what level you find phase, development level, integration level. Yes, Description to enable reproduction or resolution. You need to describe everything how these defects can be reproduced in the logs. You need to provide the logs, database dumps or screenshots. You need to provide this. If you raise a defect without the screenshot, it will be definitely rejected. Okay. Degree of impact on stakeholders' interest. You need to provide how much stakeholders are interested to know. Based on that, you will give severity of impact. What is the severity of these defects? Yes. Urgency and priority to fix. Based on your criticality level, you will decide the priority of the defect. Means urgency and priority. Status of incident. This defect can have different stages like open, new, deferred, waiting for fix, waiting for retest, reopen, close, etc. Yes. Conclusion and recommendations and any approvals. You also need to mention conclusions if we have to have any recommendations and approvals.
Yeah.
Global issues in the report, you need to mention global issues, not just related to the testing, but overall issues you face. Change history. Whenever we change something, we have to provide the change history. References. In references, you can give the requirements number, test number. Each and everything will have ID. Yes, you need to provide these in your defect report. Any question with this defect management?
No.
So, as we have discussed as planning everything, why it is important. Yes, if we don't manage this properly, then our project will be delayed. So, most important thing is to work on time. Yes, manage everything, control it means estimate it, monitor it, and control it. So, we can deliver it a good quality product on time. Yes,
Yeah.
let's move to the last chapter called tool support. What is tool support? You have been given some activities to do. Yes, in order to perform this activity, you will need some support of outside tools. That is called tool support. You don't have anything, but you have a pen and piece of paper to write test cases and everything. That is your tool. The pen is a tool and paper is a tool. Yes.
Yeah.
So without, if you give everything verbal, then you are not using any tool. Then it will have an adverse impact on your testing project. So we have to use tool support. What is the purpose of tool support? Purpose, yes. One, improve the testing activities. Improve efficiency test activities. Yes. How you can improve it? If you execute the same test case over and over again, what happens? You get bored. Yes.
Yeah.
It becomes monotonous, so you will make more mistakes. So when it is repetitive, tasks should always be automated. Supporting manual activities. If you are doing manually, then also you can do some tool support for the manual activities. As for example, you have nothing but you use Excel. That is tool support. Automating activities that require significant resources. You need to automate those activities which need significant resources like static testing. You can automate it, yes. What in case when you do static analysis, but when you have to use human brain, in that case you can't use it, yes. But there are some tools as well. They will frame you your requirements in the what are the standard word. But whenever you have to use brain, you can't do it. So one thing is there we have to keep in mind, and that's why can you replace manual testing? You say no. Whenever we need human eye and human brain, we can't do it. Yes,
Yeah.
we have to use automating activities that could not be done manually. Some activities you can't do manually, like performance testing. Can you do performance testing? 10,000 users log in at the same time, 5,000 users clicking on the same button the same time. Very difficult, yes. So you need to
Yeah.
automate this kind of activity. Increasing reliability of soft testing. If you automate this process, it will increase the reliability. How you can do it? By automating large data comparisons. In Excel, if you have, then you can automate some generate some reports by some calculations. Yes. If you are going to do with the human eye, it's very complicated. So this kind of thing you can structure is and automate them. There are some classifications of the tools. The tools, you have one tool that is not for everyone, and that one tool is not for everything. Yes, all tools have specific purpose only. So what are the classifications of the tools we have available? Management tools. The tools you use for the management activity, they are known as management. So that help you manage your testing activities. Apply all activities in the development life cycle. Another for static testing, cost effective way of finding defects earlier in the life cycle. So you can do static analysis, and it helps you to identify defects at earlier phase. Test design and implementation. There are some tools for test design and implementation, test execution and login, performance and monitoring, specialized needs. So let's go back to test design and implementation. There are some tools available which help you to design your testing activities or production activity and how to implement them. You can use them. Test execution and control. Selenium is test execution tool, automation tool, yeah. So you can use and it locks the report. So you can use performance and monitoring tools. These tools they do perform the testing activities. Specialized needs for security testing. You can't do security testing with human eye, yes.
Mhm.
In that case, what you need to do? Some tools, some specific tools you need to use. In the older syllabus, there were some more slides. I remember they have given the name, each and every tool's names, how you use it. Tools are classified according to the testing activities they support. Based on their use, we classified them, and based on them, we have categorized them. These tools they are not independent tools, they have to interact with other tools as well. So what are the possible interactions of the tool? You have a test management tool, yes, like Jira or ALM. Application lifecycle management tool is known as ALM. That is a test management tool. Jira is also test management tool, but it is known as agile test management tool. Whenever you use agile methodology, you can use Jira because they are framed in the tickets. So these tools they interact. They are not independent. We have to link that they have some integration with other what continuous integration tools. They can be linked with continuous integration tools like Jenkins, Concourse pipelines. So you can monitor the defect tracking tools or defect management tools. These test management tools you can link with defect management tools. So you can say or link, you can say how many defects are there. You can generate some reports. This test management tools does literally everything, but they have other functionalities like requirements management. They manage the requirements. Yes, configuration manage. They do the configuration management activities as well. So you can store the versions It does the work of version control. What is continuous integration? Let's go. All improvements you can show there. Yes. Defect management. Has one of the modules called defect management. Jira, you can raise defects in Jira. Yes. Requirements management tools. In ALM, you can manage the requirements. There is a module called requirement management. You can store all the requirements there. In Jira, exactly same way you can store your requirements in as tickets. Configuration management. There is one section where you can store all the versions, but sometimes it becomes so complicated to maintain, and that's why even though you have ALM, even though you have these tools, you separately do this management activity. Otherwise, what happens if you store one gigabytes data, five gigabytes data in version control? What happens? These tools cannot tolerate that much burden, yes,
Mhm.
and they crash. When they crash, then again you lose so many things. So even though they have these facilities, these activity configuration management activity is done separately. You can use a separate tool or you can use this folder structure. Yes,
What is the maximum storage it can store?
the tool
Yeah,
based on the money you spend.
I mean like company spends.
Yes, based on the services you are buying.
Okay.
Yes, but see these ALM tools you bought for an organization. That organization have multiple projects, and everybody different project people they use the same tool. You store your test cases, you store your screenshots, you store literally so many things there. Yes,
Mhm.
then at one stage it crashes. ALM I have used for a long time, and it is very difficult to maintain at one stage. But it also depends on how much money the company is spending.
Mhm.
Based on that they will get the storage and everything.
Okay.
But most of the organization they have separate tool for the configuration management, so they can store and maintain the version as well. Or if you don't have, you can just use a folder structure. In your PC you have one specific folder, in there you have this separate. Yes, as for example you have so many emails from a different departments, then you have the folders and you store them. Yes,
Mhm.
exactly the same way you can do it. What is the purpose of requirement management tool? The requirement management tools, they store the requirement statements. So they store the requirements. Store requirements attributes like priority, owner, sources. How much priority we have given allocated to this assign means yeah, to this particular requirement. We can say based on the owner. Who is the owner of this requirement? The requirement must have written by someone, but also it must have come from somewhere. That person might be the owner. The source of the requirements, from where we have obtained these requirements, that we can link this when all this. Okay, the priority is one, two, three, high priority requirements. Owner, who is the owner, who is looking after this requirement, and the source from where this requirement came. Enable traceability. This requirements management tools help for the traceability, like mapping the requirements with the test cases and test cases with the requirements. So what happens, this is automatic process. So when you generate a report, you just need to click one button after this, and it will identify. In ALM we do, you can link the requirements with the test cases and test case with the requirement. As soon as you have the test case in ALM, you need to link that particular requirement test case with a requirement. Then you can generate a report. When you report, if you identify any requirement which is not linked or not mapped, or the vice versa, any test case not mapped, then that will highlight in the report, and that will come to so and so person, and the person has to do it, because should not be any requirement without test cases, and there should not be any condition. There is test case, but that is not linked with the requirement. The test case should belong to some of the requirements. Yes.
Yeah.
So may help with identifying inconsistent or missing requirements. This will help you to identify some missing requirements or inconsistent requirement. If the requirement somewhere you stated in a different way, somewhere you have stated in a different way, then it identifies it. If requirement is missing, you have stored it. Yes. So when you generate the reports, it flags based on your statements that this missing requirement is there. Any question?
No.
Management of testing. In that defect management tools, what is the purpose of defect management tools? These tools help you to manage the defects. Yes. Store and manage incident reports. This defect management tool store and manage incident reports. Failures and defects. What are the failures and defects? Change request. When there is a change request, you raise it. It will come as a ticket. Yes, new requirement. Pursued problems and anomalies. If you identified any inconsistencies or any problems, you can store in here. Management of defect life cycle. Defect severity, priority management. How severe is the defect? Based on it is linked with the requirements, you can identify the priority and severity. How? We have discussed it. Yes. How important it is to fix based on the requirement. How? I give you one example. You are doing testing mortgage calculator. It doesn't do the percentage calculation correctly. That is high priority defects. Yes. And
Yeah.
high severity. It needs to be fixed. You are testing some spelling UI, and you found some spelling incorrect. What do you say about this? It is not a severe defect. Yes.
Yeah.
Does it make if the spelling is incorrect or correct?
No.
Yes. Another is the logo is incorrect. What do you say about this?
Yeah, it is a mistake.
Yes, logo should be correct, otherwise it is a reputation.
Yeah.
So you say it is visibly, it doesn't have any functionality related to it, but it is a
Mm-hmm.
logo, so you can say the severity is very low, but priority
It's high.
very high, means high. So based on the importance, you decide your severity and priority. Updating of status. As soon as the status changes, you raise a defect. It's a new defect. Somebody opens it. Opened, yes. Assigned. Somebody is working, then they change wait. Working means work in progress. Statistical analysis. And these tools help you for the statistical analysis. It generates the reports. How many defects are there? How many open defects are there? How many closed defects are there? Etc. etc. These tools are also known as defect tracking tools. Any question with this?
No.
Let's go to the continuous integration tools. So you use this one to improve your activities continuously. They are known as continuous integration tools like Concourse Pipeline, Concourse, not pipe, Concourse. And another is Jenkins. I know two of them, and that's why they are continuous integration tools. What is the purpose of them? Build and test software continually. As for example, your test cases are there. You automated the test cases. When you execute it manually or when you execute it automatically, but in what is this called? Locally. But what if you want to execute remotely? Then you need to transfer this to this continuous integration tools. You can't set up time to the execution time in Selenium, but if it in Jenkins, you can set the time. You go home 6 o'clock and you say that these test cases, that 1000 test cases should be executed at 7 o'clock, and they will start executing all overnight. When you go, you just need to check the reports. Easier for developers to integrate changes. It is easy for the developers, they can quickly integrate the changes. Easier for users to get fresh bills. And the bill users also, they can get up to date fresh bills. I'll show you some Jenkins actual concourse. CI means continuous integration. Integrate code into a shared repository several times a day. We are using a shared repository that has been used by so many projects, and we have to integrate the code there. Everything would be stored there at one location. Each check-in is verified by a build. Each and every time you check in, it will be verified. Allows early defect detection, and these tools help you to identify defects early. Any question?
No.
What is configuration management tool? Store information about versions of software and versions of testware. Simple. It doesn't do anything else. You have the version story as for as I wrote one, then store. I wrote two, then one and two store as new number. Three, then save something else as a new number. That's it. Nothing else. Yes, in simple way. As for example, I have document I saved as class 9. Yes,
Yeah.
I save this document, and as a result, I say something. I wrote something configuration management tools. I click on save. If I click on save, what happens? It overwrites it. Yes.
Yeah.
Then I won't be able to know what exactly I have added. So I need to change something. Save as class 9.1. Yes.
Yeah.
Then I have added something. Importance of configuration management. I don't know what I have added if I overwrite it. So I will save something. It can be one line of code or two lines or anything, but you save it frequently. But this should become after the approval. You don't save yourself, okay? You wrote the test cases. So that
Mhm.
is your version. You don't, today I wrote one test case. Yesterday, yeah, today I wrote one test case. Tomorrow you write two more. So you don't change the version that way, okay?
Yeah.
If somebody verifies it and the suggestions are there made, and that time based on the feedback you will make changes, and based on that you save as a new version. Particularly useful when configuring different environments. These tools are helpful when we are working and configure different environments. This configuration talent management tool is not a test tool. Yes, it's a supporting tool, you can say. Any questions so far?
No.
Tool support for testing, review tools. Now we can use some tools to review when we can't use the human eye. Wherever we have to use human eye, human brain, we have to do it. Yes, but these tools help you. What this review process guidelines? You can store information like review process guidelines. Yes,
Mhm.
checklist. Store and communicate review comments. Whenever some comments are passed, you can store them. Reports on defects, they helps you to generate the reports and store them. Reports on effort expanded. Yes, the reports, whatever efforts we have given, that will be stored, and outline reviews for large teams and for geographically dispersed teams. If one team is in India and one team in the UK and one team in the USA, then these review tools help. But whenever, again, I'm saying, whenever we have to use the human brain, human eye, these tools are just storing whatever we have discussed or whatever our outcome. Yes?
Yep.
Do you have any question?
No.
Static analysis you can't do with the human eye. Okay? And that's why for static analysis you have to use tools. Have to use the tool. Like there are hundreds and thousands of lines of code. It's very difficult. Yes? So the enforcement of coding standards. So you can use some tools. As for example, you can use some simple code review means Eclipse kind of. This compiler tools are there, so you can use some compiler tool. So when there are some coding standards, they can help you to identify this quickly. The analysis of structures and dependencies. These tools help you to analyze the structures of your code and dependencies if there is any. Compilers offer support for static and see you can use the compilers tools for static analysis. Any compilers you find, they will help you. The syntax and syntax rules and everything, it's very difficult to identify with the human eye when there are hundreds of lines of code. Yes, so use some tools. Some tools you use for the test design, what are they? In that, we can use requirements, GUI design, design model, and source code. And when you insert this information into this design tool, it will give you some test inputs like executable test cases. It is not like a machine, but you need to provide the information and your rules and regulations. Based on that, these tools will generate some statement you can use as executable statement. Some data preparation tools. In the tools, what you do, you enter some data. This data preparation tools will process it and give you. You can use the data as test data. There are so many tools available. I don't exactly remember, but as for example, there are some configuration emails you need, hundreds of emails you need. Will you generate these emails by yourself, hundreds and thousands of emails?
No.
There are some tools available. You can use it. If you want to generate some different strings, 100 lines of strings, 500 lines of strings, what you will do? There are some tools available. You put it 500, then it will give you some string.
Hmm.
That's it, nothing else. There are some.
Yeah.
I use some tools initial phase, but I don't have that much the same requirement, so I forgot the names. But some developers pass some information. I must be having some list there. So you just go on they are web based tools. So it just is free. You can put you want something this requirement and you give the number that string will be generated for the specific number. That much big means. Any question for so far?
No.
Shall we stop it here?
Yep.
Okay, so tomorrow I think we will finish it, and uh, uh, if we have time tomorrow, we will try to make some CV. Okay, so I have sent you some 5 CVs. Do you must have stored them? Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so we have to do it. Just hold on. I stop.